Greetings, this is M6OKZ on YouTube, and here is my review of the Anytone AT-D868UV dual band DMR radio, which features GPS and a very large battery at 3100 milliamp hours. Here is the radio itself. As you can see, very ruggedized, quite well built. Program functional keys here and here as well as an emergency button on the top, control knob up the top there, power and volume on that side. That's also an emergency man down button there. This radio does UHF and VHF, DMR and analog as well. So VHF is 136 to 174 megahertz at 7 watts max output, and on UHF it's 400 to 480 megahertz at 6 watts max output. The radio also features digital APRS via DMR once programmed. Let's give the radio a power and see how we do. So it's already powered on. As you can see, you've got your menus here. So for analog, you can put frequencies into your book. You've got your zones, so you can go between your different zones there. Scan, set up a scanning list, your settings, your GPS, your digital monitor, and back to that. So let's give the radio a switch off and just see how long it takes to switch on. Within about 5 seconds, which is pretty typical of a radio like this. A bit longer than a Baofeng, but not the longest I've had so far. Supplied in the box with the radio is the USB programming cable, which features the Kenwood style 2 pins. The charging base, a bit similar to the TYT in some respects. That is a input 12 volts DC, 1000 milliamps, and output 8.4 volts at 1000 milliamp hours. You have a 2-pin adapter there for power, which goes onto the end of a barrel plug. Most UK suppliers will also provide you with a adapter for that, which looks something a bit like this, but it could vary in shape and style depending on where you're going and what country you're in. Okay, so not much else to show you in the box. Let's have a quick look at the radio itself. So we'll power it on. Okay, there we are. Right, well, I've got it programmed on PMR 446 channel 1, so I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. In the settings, I've got it set to about mic level 5 and the speaker volume about the same mid-range. Just going to pick up another radio and we'll do a quick test. So stand by.
This is M6OKZ providing an audio test for a YouTube video. M6OKZ.
Hopefully you heard that all right. So I'm just going to replace this radio with a Baofeng I have on the table here, and I will do the same test again. I'll just turn the volume up on that, and I'll be back in just a moment.
This is M6OKZ providing an audio test for YouTube video. M6OKZ.
Now, while I agree that wasn't perhaps the best frequency to do an audio test on, it's most likely to be quiet, and I was within the regulatory half a watt power, so no issues on that front. Let's just have a quick look through the let's see, we're in analog mode at the moment, so why don't we switch it into, let's see, we'll repeat it, let's try digital. So if we push menu in digital, you get your talk groups list as well as any contacts you might have there. So let's try select a talk group. Okay, why don't we try the echo test? Everything's very easy to use on this radio. So, okay, let's try this. This is M6OKZ on the Echo test server.
This is M6OKZ on the Echo test server.
Hopefully you heard that okay. Apologies for the angle there. It's the trouble when you try and do everything all at once. Okay, so you can do text messages as well on the DMR. Motorola and Hytera are in the settings. Call log for your called, answer and missed calls. Your zones again. Your scan list. Settings, so in radio settings you've got the beep. Backlight. Light time. Channel name. Key lock. Power off. TX timer, how long it takes to switch up, how long before your transmission's cut short. The max volume level, ear max volume, mic feature, normal or enhanced, language, menu exit time, intro display, so picture, characters or customer picture, main channel, sub channel, message note, call ring, frequency step, analog squelch level, power save, tone burst selection, Vox delay, scan mode, mic level, DTMF speed, FM radio monitor, man down, startup password, AU repeat, AU repeater B, key program function 1 short, key program function 2 short, key program function 3 short, P1 short, P2 short, PF1 long, PF2 long, PF3 long, and P1 long, P2 long, SMS format and time zone, and date and time. It's easier to configure these on the software itself, which I'll show you later. Channel settings, just quickly scroll through these so you can see them. It is completely possible to program almost anything on the radio itself when you're out in the field. So just show you I'm on version 2.33, hardware version 1.1, and yep, there we go. So, not sure if I've got the GPS. I can turn the GPS on and then in a while we'll get a lock. You can also record on this, so it is possible to record your transmissions if you so wish to do so, which is pretty handy. There is also a VFO mode as well, so let's see if we can get that switched on. If I can remember how to do it on this one. Nope, that's digital monitor slot on my radio. You see you can program these keys to do almost anything on the radio, so it's just a question of remembering what you've set each key for. Let's try this one. Now it's about the GPS position. If I push it shortly, yep, there we are, VFO mode. Just turn the channel knob and you can scroll between, or you can type a frequency in, so for example, and you're good to go. So I mean, it really is rather handy, this radio, very easy to program. We'll go back into a digital mode again. Go your list, got your talk group list with any contacts. You can also, put a contact in on the fly if you wish. Let's see what else we've got. So if you push this side key here, it shows the battery voltage. Let's just show that again. I think it went a bit off there. Yep. We've got a monitor key there. A PTT key is just there. Man down key there, which I've got set to change the power. On this side you've got a slot for your programming cable and the speaker mic. Let's see, that back. You've got your light there, which shows you whether you're receiving, transmitting, and whether it's digital or analog. These knobs here are very easy to use, very intuitive, and a good response on the controls. The keypad itself, very not rubberized and feels easy, very great, very good to use. No problems at all, very nice indeed. Just eject the battery out. You can see this one focuses, is 3,100 milliamp hours at 7.4 volts, and this is the rear of the radio. As I say, it's very nice in the hand, and it really is a lovely radio to use. You can get a case by PowerWorks, which will work great. I personally use a Motorola case, which I've adapted slightly, and the radio fits lovely in there. You have to take off the belt clip, which is supplied with the radio, but that's no problem. Pick that up, and you're good to go. You can still see the lights through there. All the keys are fully accessible, so it really isn't a bad case to use. This one by Motorola, I think it was for the MP300 or thereabouts. I'll put some links in the video description there. Okay, so I think it's about time we moved on to the programming software. Okay, so we've got the software loaded up for this Anytone radio. This is version 1.33, which you can find from a multitude of websites online. What we're going to do now is going to read the data from the radio and set about making a couple of additions. I've already got my code plug set up with the frequencies I use most, so we're just going to do a couple of alterations just for the purpose of this video. So as you can see, it's now read from the radio, and what it's done is it's made a copy of that code plug on this computer, and you can then go in and say, I would recommend going up and saving this so you've got a copy, and then set about making your alterations. So what we're going to do now is just going to take you through the various things on the left. So on the left you've got public, you've got your channel, where your channels are, your zones, your scan list if you've got them set up, your FM, so you can add your frequencies for monitoring commercial radio such as, I don't know, one of the BBC stations or so on. You've got your auto repeater offset frequencies, you've got your basic information to tell you which model you've got, which bands it can be used with, and what version you've got. You've got your optional settings, so wait for those to load. So at the moment it's on the display one. You've got ones for alert tone, power on, what happens on power on, what it does, GPS and ranging, VFO scan, auto repeater, record, volume and audio, digital fun, other, key function, power save, FM, STE, box and work mode. Just as we go through them shortly, power on, for example, you can set to have a picture or welcome message, so there's a password or what have you. You can also set it to default to a particular channel and zone when it turns on. I've put this switched on at the moment, but I will be switching this off so I can have it always start up where I left it last. If we go into alert tone tab, you can go have an alert for the SMS, the call, the digi call, talk permit, key tone, idle channel, startup tune, volume change prompt, and then various other settings there which I'm not going to go into on this. Display, the brightness level, how long you want the backlight to be on for, how long before it enters the exit, how long before it exits the menus, time display, the last caller, call display mode, the colour, call end prompt box, show zone name and talk group, show the last heard while talking, and the channel switching keeps the last caller. GPS, if you're going to use APOS or just want to see where you are, you might want to keep this on. And you've got your GPS positioning, your time zone, make sure you set this correctly or else it won't work properly. Your range and interval, and that's where you can use two radios that have this built in, and you can find out at a set period how far away you are and what your relative position is. It must be enabled on both radios. GPS template information, your VFO scan, auto repeater offsets and what have you. Your recording function, you can turn that on or off, and how long you want it before it delay, what the delay would be. Your maximum volume, your headset volume, your mic gain, and whether you want the enhanced audio on or off. Here's your digital settings. These will vary for you, but these are mine. Again, they're not what everyone will have. Other, so you've got your timer, which is for me is 180 seconds, your frequency step, your language, your squelch level, your tone burst setting, your analog call hold time, your priority zones there, your key functions. During the first or second part of the video you saw me pushing various keys and they did various things. This is where you can set that up. You can also lock the control knobs on top, the keyboard, the side key and the professional key. Your power save settings are here. You've got your FM settings there, your STE settings, your Vox and your work mode, so whether you want it in channel or frequency mode, and then you've got those settings there. You've got your alarm setting up here, which I haven't gone into, but there's the settings for that. You've got your local information, and what it will do is you can edit this if you so wish. If you're a supplier, you can set that up. You've got your hotkeys, which I also haven't used. You've got your analog and your digital there, so you've got your ID list, your talk groups, your predefined SMS messages, your receive groups, so I've got talk time slot 1 and 2, your encryption code and your contact list, which if you've downloaded the contacts, this is where they will be, and it goes up to 160,000. Your friends list and your digital APRS information. Now, this is very handy if you want to use digital APRS. This should really be set to 0 so that when you use the PTT it will then transmit manually your location. If you want it automatically, that's set 180 seconds. Your transmit power, you want your fixed beacon location. What that means is if you have that set on, you can then set a predefined lat and long, and it will just transmit that continuously when you want it to. These left as are, and you can change the talk group to match the talk group you've got in your talk group settings to change what's displayed on APRS.phi, and then of course the slot, your analog address book, your 5-tone settings, again that haven't gone into this, your 2-tone and your DTMF. This is by far one of the easiest radios I've ever used and the most configurable at the same time. Once you get your head around the basic settings, it really is a very good radio, and I would have no questions about recommending it. Up here in the tools you've got your record, so if you've done some recordings you can read them from the radio, download them and save them. Import, you can import all of these from a, I believe it's a .csv file into your configuration. Export, you can export any one of these or all of them into a CSV file to be edited, say in Microsoft Excel or free equivalent. You've got your mode, which is for our American users. Extended, so you can have all this extra information in your DMR information cards. Your firmware icon and icon upgrade tool, that will load up separately. Your startup picture, you can put your own picture there if you so wish to do so. Default channel information, and you can export data into a file which can be used with another piece of software. So yeah, I mean it really is a fully featured radio, and I'm very pleased with it, and I will definitely buy another one tomorrow if I needed to do so. Yeah, so here's the part where you can update your icons and your files. As I say, fantastic radio. If you buy one of these you won't be disappointed, that's for sure. Okay, so this has been my review of the Anytone AT-D868UV dual band DMR radio. Now I did promise earlier that if I could get a GPS lock I'll just show you what it says, and here we go. So let's quickly scroll into that. You can see, you know, you've got your information there, and that's just an approximate location. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but yeah, I mean it is a fantastic radio, and I think anyone that buys one of these, you won't be disappointed, that's for sure. And I would recommend it. Just had a contact come up there on DMR. Now I purchased my radio from Martin Lynch and Sons, but there's many providers available. I was very pleased with the after service support that I had with them, and I think at £139 it's a very good price. And you know, just having a quick scroll through, you know, you get your free programming cable, there's all the information there. And on another website you can also get a spare battery for about £15. Speaking of battery life, I mean it's amazing. 3,100 milliamp hours for this radio here. and it lasts, well, I've only had to charge it properly twice in 4 weeks, and that's with, you know, some days of near constant use. It really is a fantastic radio, and I'd recommend you go and give it a try. So this is M6OKZ on YouTube, providing a review of the Anytone AT-D868UV radio. Would welcome your comments and opinions on the Anytone D868 and this review.